wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this one, that one, damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Hello guys, what is up? It is me, Prince of this, and before I begin, I obviously have to apologize for taking so long to bring this back. When it comes to One Piece What Ifs, however, I will not rush things since it is such an intricate story. I want to respect the source material as much as possible. So, without any further ado, let's begin the 7th part. After I recap what has happened in the last part, of course, and I do urge you to go watch the last part and get the context for this video. Alright, let's go. Arriving at Skypiea, the Tempests are amazed but are welcome in the worst way possible. First, they are attacked by an octopus, which is a feat, and then a masked Shandian warrior attacked next, but Luffy took care of him. After this, they meet the Sky Knight, who was shocked to find out how they made it to their Sky Island, but he is impressed, and he's also amazed by Luffy's ability to control the wind. He then wishes them good luck and leaves. Meanwhile, the Tempest then leaves for Heaven's Gate, but after getting suspicious of the fee passage ordered by the gatekeeper, Luffy uses his powers once again to make his ship and crew ascend. They arrive at Angel Beach and meet Coney and her father, who show them around a bit and tell them about Dials. And while the Tempests go spend some time at the house of, well, Coney and her father, Nami goes on a joyride using the waiver of Pagaya, who is Coney's father, of course, but she witnesses a horrifying scene. As she returns, she is then told that they are being asked to pay a fine and ends up hitting the enforcers of the town, so they attack, but Luffy knocks them out using his haki. While impressive that Luffy can do this, Pagaya and Coney get worried, saying that he had incurred the wrath of Eneru. Luffy had been sensing Eneru, but at that moment, he took a closer look at him using his observation haki, just as a lightning blast goes down at him. This was of course Eneru's judgment, but Luffy uses his own powers to not only meet Eneru's power, but struggle against it and then destroy his lightning with his own wind blast, reaching Eneru's castle, and all the angels see this and come to the beach to see Luffy, who amazes them, but the Tempests go to leave to go meet this so-called god, but more specifically beat his ass, because Luffy and all of them can just tell he was just a dick, so yeah. So they set out to the upper yard and arrive after some trouble and have to beat up some sea creatures, well, cloud creatures, whatever you want to call them, and they split up, with Luffy taking the test of the ball, and he meets Satori, one of Eneru's priests, who he quite literally backhands to near death. He then went on to defeat all of Eneru's priests, while Robin, Nami, and Zoro found out that Jaya was shot up to Skypiea, and Chopper, Sanji, and Usopp went out to the forest. The previously hurt Shandian warrior, who turned out to be Wiper, is told by Aisa, who can use mantra, that Luffy beat all the priests, so they attack the upper yard, and things are set into motion. During this, the Sky Knight, who used to be Kami before Eneru took over, did his part by making sure the Tempest ship does not get messed up in any way, even if there's a barrier on it. As everyone gathers at the upper yard eventually, they find that Eneru has been completely beaten by Luffy, and he also had tamed Sula, the giant snake. Again, if I get his name wrong, please tell me. With the defeat of Eneru came the ringing of the bell, which showed Luffy's silhouette in the sky and let it be known that Mont Blanc was not wrong at all. He was not a fraud. He was not anyone who lied at all. The City of Gold really did exist. While the entire island partied above, Luffy's bounty was risen to 700 million and kept rising, and Robin the next day found out that Roger was at the Sky Island already, so this means the Shandians no longer have to protect the ancient words. After learning this, the Tempests come out with treasure, and the group leaves as Luffy promises to visit, and as they go down, however, on their way, Luffy senses Dofi and goes to Jaya, meeting him, and he attacks as they prepare for a battle. As Dofi stands on Luffy's giant sword construct, it would fracture, instantly forming into multiple blades that go to stab him, but he covers himself with haki, causing him to spark with lightning as the blades strike. However, he then notices the reason why he was sparking with lightning was because these blades were shrouded in haki as well. So you do know a little bit about haki, Dofi would say, as Luffy then says he knows just a bit, and Dofi yells as this is when his haki pushes away the blades, dissipating them, and as he falls, he stops and starts floating, but Luffy notices he's standing on a line of string. So you're Doflamingo, aren't you? Luffy would ask. Luffy would laugh at this, sticking out his tongue as he says that it's true. Wanna guess why I'm here? The government sent you. Dofi commends him on his ability to figure this out, just as he swipes downward with full force, and his strings would come down at Luffy at the speed of sound before lighting up on fire. But as the string's near Luffy, he disappears and appears right in front of Dofi as he grabs his arm and snaps it, unraveling his coat of haki that was protecting him. Dofi would scream out in pain and explode with haki again, pushing Luffy back a few feet away. "I'm gonna kill you. Try it," Luffy would say, as the two would then erupt with lightning and their waves of haki clash into each other, making Dofi realize that it was true that he really had the color of the Supreme King. His rage would grow as he explodes with even more haki, but Luffy does not back down, causing a crater to directly form below the two as they stay still, unmoving. And Luffy says, "I will not lose in the battle of wills, Doflamingo." As the two battle, they don't notice the arrival of Big News Morgan, who would land nearby on a building, completely astonished. "I can't believe I almost stayed home. This is the scoop of the ages." As he begins to snap pictures, however, he's then blown away by the pressure and waves of haki, which releases a huge dust cloud. Luffy then blows it all away with the wave of his hand, but he finds that Dofi is gone. Damn it, I should have checked this power set. Oh, what about the others? Quickly, he flies to the place where Dofi was and had caused trouble at, and there he finds everyone near death, much to his shock, and he says he has to hurry. Holding his arms out, he extends his energy all over the plaza, reaching those who have been hurt, and slowly they're enveloped by a green glow. The first to wake up, ironically, is Bellamy, as he would be dazed. What's going on? His eyes start to focus again, and he is shocked to see Luffy expanding his mana, and he looks around, seeing those who were hurt being healed. Luffy notices Bellamy waking up, and he says, "Hello, how you been?" "Oh, I've been good," Bellamy would say in a quietly nervous tone, and Luffy then lowers his arms, saying, "You recovered fast. You must have some talent for hockey or something." He then lands Bellamy a hand and says to move carefully and to be more careful from now on, because, yeah, he looks like someone who just gets in trouble. Also, he's a pirate. And Bellamy is surprised that he isn't mad at him, just as he floats up into the air, getting ready to leave. But Bellamy will then say, "Wait, before you leave, I wanted to say, I'm a huge fan." "Wait, seriously?" Luffy would say. And Bellamy would nod as Luffy would smile, saying, "Good luck back on the seas." He then flies off as Bellamy then wonders what happened to Dofi, and this is when he thinks, unless he chased him away? Also, what's haki? This only impressed him even more. Meanwhile, Morgan, who was checking out the pictures he had gotten, shows a grin on his face. "The Ripper chases away Dofi. I didn't expect this haki to be so strong, but the color of the Supreme King of all things?" As the Tempest near Jaya, Luffy flies over and lands as everyone then asks why he even went off to begin with, and Luffy says, "We'll talk about it later. Besides, we need to get into our loot." "Nami, you excited?" This obviously excites Nami, who says to follow her, and together they go down to their room while Luffy puts up a barrier, and Nami lays out everything, and she would have her eyes twinkling as they probably have a bunch of billions on their hands. "Wait, Luffy, if you can go back to Skypiea, then we're basically rich. We have infinite money, right?" Usopp would say. Everyone gives a look of seriousness as they look to Luffy, who says, "I said I was gonna visit, so just leave it to me." The crew only gets more excited as Luffy then says they might also need a shipwright for their crew. "I can't always be here to protect Mary." Usopp agrees, saying that they should go upgrade Mary, and Luffy says perfect, and he has the perfect place that they should go, Water 7. They have no distinction between pirates or marines, and they're the best at their work, so we can go. "But we really need a break. Like a short vacation," Robin would say. "Exactly," Luffy says. They then set out to find a resting island, and after bizarre encounters with strange animals on the way, they arrive to see a desolate plain island with tall trees. "This feels weird, right, Luffy? Are there any inhabitants?" Nami would ask. He nods, pointing forward, and everyone's eyes widen as they see a strange humanoid bear that was tall and walking about. Interested, they go down and come to find what is pretty bizarre, and the fact that everything on this island is just large and long, like in length. They're big in length, and more animals have the same affliction. Dogs with long torsos, birds with long wings, long fruit, and they eventually come across a house with a horse having a long neck and just a long body in general. Chopper runs up to it asking where its master was, and Zoro would then say, "And I thought Sky Island was weird." Luffy would approach the house and starts to inspect it until he finds an old man hiding in fear behind it. "Nice to meet you." The old man would shake in fear as Luffy, however, holds his hand out asking him to come out, and Tonji realizes who he is talking to and cannot be more fearful, but Luffy didn't seem as the Marines had depicted. Taking a leap of faith, he then takes his hand and Luffy brings him out from behind the house, saying, "Hey guys, I found an inhabitant." Everyone then turns to him everyone turns to see him and say hi, but it only gets nervous. Meanwhile, at the shore of the island, the Foxy pirates arrive, and Foxy looks down from his ship, and his members come over and look as well, and they get frozen. Captain? As they look to Foxy, he will be out cold while standing, and they say, yeah, let's just leave. Why is he even here? The Foxy Pirates then leave, not saying anything more, as Luffy has become someone you just cannot mess with unless you want to die, since by this point the news about Dofi being beaten and chased away has spread. This puts Luffy at the level of a warlord, but he and everyone don't know about it yet, since the Grimoire has not acknowledged this news as worldwide yet. Everyone needs to know Luffy for the Grimoire to acknowledge it as a sort of fact, so it can transfer it and manifest it. So at Long Island, Luffy actually asks for his crew to have some space to train over there. He asks Tonji, and he bows before him, and he just doesn't know how to react. Are you even allowed to do that? Doesn't that hurt your pride? The old man would ask. And Luffy then lifts his head, saying, I'm gonna be king of the pirates. I can do whatever I want. Tonji is surprised by this answer and doesn't know how to react again, so he just says to go ahead. I still don't trust you, but if possible, please keep the animals away from your shenanigans. They've been living here for a while. I like to keep it that way, not that I like them very much. You can count on us, sir, Chopper would say. Tonji would then say, just what have I gotten myself into? We then cut to a few months later, and we find Luffy fighting against Zoro's swords and Sanji's kicks with his bare hands covered with armament. Zoro goes full three-sword style and attacks with intent to kill, but Luffy blocks all his attacks before then punching him right in the face, and Sanji then appears right behind him with an axe kick, which he dodges and returns with his own kick to the chef's face. They are both sent flying, crashing into the ground, but quickly get up. Sanji would say, Jesus, are you made of steel or something? If you're not gonna fight, then shut up, Zoro would say, as he rushes forward with an angered Sanji saying to take that back, and together they attack Luffy, who notices the change in their impact. Good, maybe if I push them enough, then I can make that happen, Luffy thought. With this training, the Straw Hats begin to get stronger, and 1 week would pass, and they try to improve their abilities as much as possible. And while none of them get Haki because that shit is too hard to learn unless you have insane talent like Luffy, for example, you just cannot get it right away. But Sanji and Zoro have grown exponentially because they're the right-hand men, you know. And because of Luffy's insane Haki, Sanji developed his fire kicks already, erupting with actual flames, which is insane, and he has increased in speed by a lot, which is to be expected since Luffy's speed is his greatest strength. Zoro's power grows to match that of when he's fighting CP9 already, and his speed increases as well because he's been training with Luffy. And anyone who fights or trains with Luffy instantly gets a speed boost in this what if. And yeah, he's just very overpowering. Luffy himself is close to reaching new levels in terms of armament and can almost make it go invisible, but that's about it. Chopper also trains with Luffy and gets fast as well, and he gets more experience in battle since he barely has any, so he's not really afraid of fighting. He just needs some actual battle experience. He needs to actually fight someone head on. Usopp also fights Luffy, and this gives him a chance to test out his dials, which he got from Skypiea, which are very useful. But Luffy does break one of the impact dials by accident because the power he used was too strong. But Usopp learns to be more sneaky that way. He learns to be more strategic because he has to. Nami fights Luffy as well, and she was by far actually the one who can somewhat stop Luffy's attacks because of the new function that Usopp put into her climate tech. Nami can absorb the wind Luffy expels and uses it to attack him, so now if she ever needs a boost, Luffy can just give her some of his wind so she can store it, because for Luffy it's just an abundance of power that he can just give. It's not really that big of a deal to him, and it's a very powerful source for Nami to fight with. But it's not just a simple gust, she can actually use the climate attack to release violent waves. Case in point, she has become much stronger. Robin also participates, and this is where she learns to create giant limbs, but it is slightly smaller for now. But she can release the limbs much faster for surprise attacks, and she can make wings, etc. She could already do that, but you know what I'm trying to say. As the week passes, the Tempest board their ship with new clothes. They have stored their treasure in the storage, and have taken some animals from the island to eat. They keep it as ingredients, and Tonjit is not really caring about that because they're still just animals. He only cares about Sherry, his horse. So when they get ready to leave, Tonji calls for them from down below and says, "Stay safe. You should be worrying about yourself," like he would say. "You're not exactly the most prudent person." Chopper then comes over telling Sherry to take care of the old man, and they would nod, as Tonji says he's not stupid and can take care of himself. Whoa, it got really cold, Tonji would say, as Luffy then notices him shaking and his face turns serious, as he then turns to everyone, and they are already ready for whatever comes next, and he would smile because they're just ready for battle. "Brace yourselves," he would say, as he then walks towards the Mary's head and jumps before then landing on it, and then he sees a trail of ice nearing them. Meanwhile, Nami tells Tonji that he should probably go home, and so he gets on Sherry, and he would tell them to be safe for riding off. There can only be one person who can do such a thing. What are you doing here, Aokiji? The Admiral would ride in on a bike on a trail of ice and soon comes to a stop as Robin then becomes more shaken than usual. Nice to meet you, Tempest, Aokiji would say. Luffy tips his hat to the Admiral, asking what he was doing here, and he gets off the bike, which freezes up while he continues to walk forward until he jumps up and lands on Mary's head, staring straight at Luffy. I didn't give you permission to get on, Luffy would say. Sorry, this is urgent. We need to talk. I said get off. Aokiji is sent flying by an invisible wave of haki, which surprises him as well as Aokiji, who would then land on the waves, which he then freezes, and as he lands, he's just thinking, he's advanced already? How the hell is he only 17? Luffy, meanwhile, despite keeping a stone cold face, does think, how the hell did I just do that? I was just trying to talk to him to get off my ship. Luffy, that guy's an admiral, Zoro would say. Luffy nods as Zoro would then say there are only 3 men who hold this rank. Akainu, Kizaru, Aokiji. The only one who is above them is Sengoku. So we met a big shot. Great, Sanji would say. Aokiji then goes to speak when a Sea King would erupt from under and from behind him and bare its fangs, startling everyone, but in a flash it is frozen by Aokiji and the group is just kind of stunted. The Tempests are completely shocked by what they've just seen, but they just can't believe it because he did it so fast. Ramen would then say, Luffy, don't provoke him anymore. Even you can't beat an admiral. He knows haki as well. He does, huh? Don't know if I ever told you this, but I'm always holding back. As he says this, he lifts his hand into the air, and in the blink of an eye, the Sea King and, well, the frozen Sea King and the ice that has erupted all around are ripped to shreds by a descending crescent barrage of slashes, and an explosion then occurs, allowing the sea to re-emerge, and Robin is left completely shocked, as are the crew. Don't worry, I won't let him lay a finger on you. You're with me now. Would it hurt you to trust me a little? This power that matches, no, maybe even surpasses that of the Admirals, Robin thought. Aokiji then sighs, saying, look, I came with a proposal, alright? Title of Warlord. If you want it, it's yours. The crew is surprised by this offer, as this means Luffy's bounty must be pretty high by this point, and Nami would say, if I could ask, what's Luffy's bounty right now? Wait, you don't know? Aokiji would ask, what kind of pirates are you? Well, sorry for being so bad at being a pirate, Nami would yell. 700 million, and still rising after your fiasco with Doflamingo. 700 million? The crew would yell, as Usopp would then say, well then, I think we all know what the answer is, right, Luffy? A big fat no, Luffy would say. Then I wish you luck, Tempest. You're not gonna attack, Luffy would ask. Do you want me to? Luffy, Zoro would say, and Luffy says, I know. Sorry, another time, I guess. Aokiji then says sure and starts leaving and says, you owe me a new bike. He then leaps into the air, forming an ice trail which he uses to leave, and everyone sighs in relief as Luffy would then turn and sit down while grabbing onto his hat. Luffy, are you okay? Chopper would ask, and Luffy then lifts his hat, and with a smile he would say, you guys are gonna have to get a lot stronger. For a second there, you actually looked worried or something, Sanji would say. Nope, Luffy would say, but now Marines will be on us more than usual. Maybe we'll meet Kobe back on the way though. We then fade to black and begin with Robin's perspective. As she gets out of bed late around the afternoon, she takes a shower, brushes her teeth, and walks outside. And she sees everyone is kind of gathered around Luffy and look very excited for some reason, and she says it. Down below, everyone will be looking at something which is very surprising to them, not just Luffy's bounty, but Zoro and Sanji's as well. Come see, Usopp would say, it's like really awesome. They're like big shots now. I don't really like it because they're going to be chasing us, but this is too cool to ignore. Robin, realizing that she can finally catch a glimpse into the book that she's been waiting to catch a glimpse into, hurries down, and she would just lightly bend down to see what Sanji was worth now, as well as Zoro, and Sanji was now worth 10 million, while Zoro was worth 30 million. And Luffy was actually now 820 million, and her bounty was present as well, staying the same, but something interested her much more, and she pointed to it. Luffy, what is that? She points to the title atop the page of the book, which is the same language as the poneglyphs, but she can just barely decipher it. Oh, it reads Tempests. It used to be blank, but I guess my roster's growing, huh? He says this with a smile, which tells Robin that he knows much more than he's letting on, but she only smiles back, saying that it would seem so. I wonder when I'll get my first bounty, Chopper would say, and Nami would say, why would you want to? You'll be hunted down by Marines, you know. Usopp, hearing this, however, would stand as he points his nose to the sky, saying, look, we're already being chased by Marines on a daily, right? So why not just have a bounty to go with it? At least raise your chest high, you know? As the group hear him say this, they look down to his legs, and for once, he's not shaking in absolute fear, and they respond to this with all thumbs up, much to the confusion of Usopp, who simply just goes along with it. But of course, it is clear to the group that they are growing and they feel the need to keep up with Luffy, who has been the only reason why their obstacles have been reduced to nothing. Not that they haven't fought or anything. Fighting what's it called, Crocodile's group, that was mostly them, and Luffy just took out Crocodile, so they also help, but they feel like they have to do more. And Zoro would then ask, Luffy, can you help me with something? You mean hockey? Zoro would nod, and Luffy then says sure, asking if anyone else wanted to join, but Sanji said he's gonna go make some snacks for everyone, and instantly everyone asked for something specific. Can I get some meat? Zoro would say. It's only dessert, you dumbass, Sanji would respond, and Zoro then says, who the hell do you think you're talking to? At this point, Luffy would drag him away, saying to calm down, and moments later, everything is tranquil. Luffy is helping Zoro essentially grow by pressuring him with the Conqueror spirit, not the full color of the Supreme King, but he toned it down by a lot, so no one else is affected by it to that good of a degree. Little did he or everyone else know, however, just letting them deal with this constant uncomfortableness from his little bit of hockey, Zoro would also make them grow a bit faster because they're unknowingly getting used to that pressure. But then out of nowhere, Usopp spots something bizarre. Hey guys, I think I see a frog. They all stop and see a frog swimming, which is not weird because it is the Grand Line, but Luffy starts to see something else, as this is when the frog would stop swimming and Luffy would erect the barrier, when out of nowhere, a sea train would hit the frog and send him flying before then heading to the ship, and they are bounced off and out of its way and its track, and Usopp would yell, a freaking train on the seas? What the hell? The ship would land back on the seas, with the waves rocking it back and forth, and they are brought near a certain light tower near a train station, where the sea train actually passed through. And Chopper was surprised as he instinctively entered the second form, asking how that's even possible. At this moment, however, from the station, then runs out Kimmy, a little girl with pigtails, who after seeing the pirates, instead of being scared, is excited. Granny, look, there are pirates here. You think she's calling for reinforcements? Zoro would ask, as he gets ready and on guard, and the person Kimmy is calling for then walks out, and it would be Kokoro, a drunk old woman, and along with her would be Gombe, a cat that resembled more of a rabbit than a feline. Hi, I'm Kimmy, this is Granny Kokoro and our cat Gombe. For a second I thought you were going to be robbers or something, Kokoro would say, as she would be immensely drunk, and Luffy then flies off his ship and will land down at the station. I mean, we do pillage every now and then, but we're more pirates than robbers. Kimmy then says that for a pirate he's really pretty, to which he thanks her, but then asks why she isn't running. Because you're nice, right? Kimmy would say. I guess a child would think that way, Luffy thought. After this, the Tempest then get introduced to the three fully and learn why the frog was standing in the path of that train, and they do know who Luffy is, but they're not scared. Kokoro will then give them a map to Water 7 since that's where they're heading to, and as they arrive, they're amazed. It is really something that is quite amazing. They've definitely earned their name as Water 7. It was like the city that came up from under the sea itself. Damn, it's like a metropolis or something, Usopp would say. Then they must have been the ones that made the sea tracks, then Sanji would say, look, there's a port over there. The group would be amazed, but they didn't know where to dock. This place is like amazing, but they really just don't know where to stop. And in the moment of confusion, a man on a boat would then instruct them to where they need to go, because pirates don't stay in front of they don't come at the front, they just go in the back. So they go all the way to the back, and they are met by another man who tells them specifically where to dock and anchor their ship. After docking, their fun will then begin. Meanwhile, we go to the first dock of the island, where we find Iceberg with his assistant Khalifa. They arrive on a scene to find a pirate who wanted the ship fixed, but he was making a fuss. Thanks for fixing my ship, boys, but the price is too high, so I don't think I'm gonna pay anything. His subordinates then laugh, as they would think the carpenters are just pushovers, and thank them for the repairs, sarcastically. And this, however, is when the shipwrights become very silent. And out of nowhere, a log would swing to the captain's head, knocking him on his head. And Polly, after having done this, would then say, we ain't just gonna take that lion down, The angered man and the captain then get ready to fight, when Gaku would then slash up the captain's back with a saw, and he calls it an accident. You freaking bastards, you're trying to trick us into a fight, aren't you? We're gonna kill you. However, quickly, they find themselves surrounded and now feel that they have messed up, as Polly would say, Rare Water 7, that pirate logic doesn't work out here. We now go back to the Tempest. Usopp, Nami, and Luffy would then sit before an appraiser who takes a closer look at all their treasure and gold. This is one of the highest caliber I've ever seen. As expected of you, sir. As he says this to Luffy, Luffy will then smile, and he says that he didn't do it alone. So, why don't we get down to bargaining? With a devilish yet beautiful smile, Luffy begins his conquest, and minutes later, the group would then walk out with two suitcases holding 400 million berries instead of their intended 200 million berries. And Nami would say, finally, real finances. I love you. Wait, what? Luffy would say? I was talking about the money. Yeah, that makes more sense. Wanna hold it? She then nods and Luffy hands her the suitcase, which she hugs and says she will never let go. With all this money, they then go to the first dock where they meet Kaku, the long-nosed shipwright, who they commissioned to go bring the ship over so it can be upgraded. Are you sure you're fine with me handling it? Kaku would ask. Just make sure to tell Zoro that I said it was okay, Luffy would say, and he'll let you bring it back. We'll discuss the payment and other things later on. Then why don't we just talk now? The group then turns to see Iceberg walk over with his assistant, as he would then say, might as well just talk right now, right? Since I'm already here. Kaku then says hello to Mr. Iceberg with a bow, and he says to go get the ship for the Tempest, and with urgency he would then head off at the speed of sound, much to the surprise of Usopp and Nami, as he basically is flying over to their ship. He's pretty quick for a non-devil fruit user, Usopp would say. Wait, did he eat a devil fruit? Khalifa actually pushes up her glasses then says, of course not. What shipwright would ever eat a devil fruit? Oh yeah, that was a stupid question, Usopp would say. Luffy would then say, before we do start though, I have one question. Who are those masked men I saw along the way? Masked men? Iceberg would ask. Luffy at this point notices something change in Khalifa, and would smile, saying, never mind. Meanwhile, we go to Sanji, leaving the lookout, oh my fucking god. You go to Sanji, who would leave the Mary, he's not looking out anymore, he leaves it to Zoro, and he goes to explore, and while riding on a boat, he would then spot Robin. Oh, Robin, wait! He quickly paddles and reaches land and jumps out before then running to Robin, but some people get in the way, and as he looks forward to where she was gone without a trace, and he quickly runs over, and he looks around, seeing that she was just completely gone, and he's just confused. He quickly looks for her and just ends up meeting Chopper, and they search for her together. And during this, Usopp, Luffy, and Nami are introduced to Polly, Rob Lucci, and his strange talking parrot. While Kaku brings their ship over, they are shown to the inner workings of the first dock and how they deal with things here. And Kaku brings the ship over, of course, and they talk about how to upgrade the ship because the Mary is more than okay. But I'm surprised someone like you doesn't have their own shipwright, Kaku would say. I take suggestions, Luffy would say. Maybe one of you could fill the spot? Yeah, not even you can make me say yes to that, but I do have someone for you, Iceberg would say. Luffy lifts an eyebrow to this, being interested as he says to go on, and so Iceberg does. While the Tempests go to Mary, night falls, and they're just taking a little break, but Luffy goes to meet the Franky family. Inside the home of Franky and at their hideout, he would then ask his men what happened, and someone would say, so apparently the Ripper is here to get his ship fixed? You idiot, he's called the Tempest now, just like his crew is. And Franky would say, who cares? Did that guy meet Iceberg? He then says so with quite a serious but nervous look, and they all just are about to answer him when they hear the crack of their gate and they're to see the door be fully open, and in then walks the man Franky did not want to meet at all costs. So, did you expect me? Franky would then get up and slowly walk to the captain, and his men would then make way, and he comes face to face with Luffy. What are you doing here? Don't worry, I came with a proposition. Want to join my crew? This comes as a surprise to the group, who wonder why he would even care about a group of men like them. What's your angle, Tempest? Franky would ask. Can you drop that? I thought Ripper was bad. Just call me Luffy, Jesus. My question stays the same then, Franky would say, and Luffy would then say, because Iceberg recommended you. And hearing this, Franky's face turns to that of pure anger as he thinks, that little shit. Aren't you friends? Luffy would ask. And Franky would then say that it's honestly complicated. And Luffy then says, like I asked, just like someone I really don't want to meet. Wait, there's someone that even scares you? Someone would ask, and Luffy then says his name is Grandpa. He's a Marine. I guess it's just my luck that he happened to be their hero as well. The Franky family would then yell in complete surprise, your grandpa is Monkey D. Garp? Franky is also very surprised as his eyes almost pop out of his socket, and he would then say, how the hell did someone like you end up being a pirate of all things? This makes Luffy grow a grin, and instantly the group feel as if they were caught in a sort of trap, and Franky would then be thinking, he's not just strong, he's good at talking too, but I really want to know that story. Luffy then slowly sits down, saying, well, it all started when I got this. Holding his hand out, he would then make his grimoire fly out, and this fascinates the family, who almost instinctively gather to listen to him talk. And that night, Luffy did not return to the Mary, instead choosing to stay with the Franky family, who he not only partied with, but drank with. This led to the Tempest getting suspicious, so they headed over there to see what was happening the next day. As the sun rises and they reach the house, they find it completely intact. Nothing is wrong with it. And Nami would say, okay, so he didn't blow up anything. Wait, do you guys smell that? Zoro would ask. And Chopper would then say, yeah, it's alcohol? You little shit, you went off without me, Zoro would say, as he then runs forward and reaches the door to knock on it, only for it to open on its own, and it would slowly open to show Luffy sleeping amongst the Franky family, and him and Franky actually fell asleep with their arms over their shoulder like friends. And as the others run in, they are surprised to see this scene, since Luffy is not one to party this much, and he never really gets like drunk. He usually just heals himself after and gets like rid of the poison. Well, alcohol is not poison, but you get what I'm trying to say. And Chopper would say, they must be really awesome. Wait, does this mean that they're joining us? No, more importantly, Sanji would say, did anyone meet Robin today at all? As they start to ask each other about this, they realize that they actually haven't seen her at all, and they're kind of worried. She didn't even come on the ship last night. At least they didn't see her come on the ship. Meanwhile, in the city, trouble has been brewing. Overnight, the mayor, benefactor, and wonderful Mr. Iceberg had been shot. The newspapers spread quickly, and it became hot news, and as the reporters gather around his house, we find Polly entering his room, the room of Iceberg, with heavy breath, and finds every ship right there present. And he would say, I'm sorry I'm late. Those bastards will not stop hounding me. Iceberg. He then runs to his bed and would ask if he's okay, and he would nod, saying, sorry to make you worry like this. No, you don't need to apologize, Khalifa would say. Rather, we need to focus on getting those who hurt you. Iceberg then starts to think, saying, there were two of them. One was wearing a mask, and the other, it couldn't have been anyone else. It was Nico Robin. This news actually surprised him because while Luffy is known to be the Ripper, now known as the Tempest, he's one of the people who they actually didn't expect to act that way, because even when the government tries to twist things about him, he never hurts or touches civilians at all. Like, he just does what he wants to, fights pirates, but never messes with people. And they just don't, they're one of the people who believe that he might be one of the good guys. So that's why people on the island actually were very nice. And Khalifa would say, pirates will be pirates. Wait, but why? We had such a nice talk. He didn't even act pompous or like try to kill us or anything. That kid doesn't even look like a pirate. He looks like a goddamn idol or something. That's how he can fool us, Kaku would say. Don't be so naive. Polly, after hearing this, still doesn't know what to think, but something just isn't right about this, and it seems that Iceberg thinks the same as him. They couldn't have been here for the blueprints, right? Iceberg would think, but then he remembered talking with Luffy, and he just can't believe that Luffy would order Robin to shoot him because he just has no reason to. Hours later, we find Luffy walking back into Water 7 to talk with Iceberg about what he thought when it came to upgrading the Mary, but then things seem to be more tense as usual as people are looking at him strangely and with more fear. At this moment, his Grimoire would shine, making people on the street grow with a nervous sweat, and they back away. And Luffy would think, just what the hell is going on? As he then brought out his Grimoire and they floated out in front of him before them flipping until it showed a picture of Robin and Mr. Iceberg. The headline was what really got to Luffy. Lowering his gaze, he then grabs his Grimoire as everyone wonders what he would do, and in a burst of wind, Luffy flies upward and towards the home of someone he considered a friend by this point. Iceberg, he yells as people would panic, yelling that he was going to finish off Iceberg, and as he nears the home of Iceberg, however, Kaku flies towards him before then unsheathing two saws from behind, and he slashes towards Luffy, but Luffy meets him with a stare, releasing the spirit of the conqueror, and he would quickly freeze him as he begins to fall. Luffy then looks down as he was falling to see the Galley-La company was preparing cannons to attack him with, which they then shot towards him, causing a massive explosion, but the smoke is then blown away as he would pierce the air and in an instant appear at the window of Iceberg's home. Inside, he looks to see Iceberg, but no one else, just as Luffy would then kick through the window and go to hit Luffy, who would catch his foot. Listen to me, this is all a big mistake. He then pushes away Luffy and would enter the room as he instantly finds himself surrounded. I do not want to hurt you, Luffy would say. Then just leave, Tempest, Polly would say. I can't do that. Iceberg, why did Robin shoot you? Iceberg would slowly sit up in his bed saying, why did you ever take that woman into your group? Because she's interesting. She's a devil. You're not a naive man, Iceberg would say. I know you know of her. You know of her origins, her background. The fact that you even bring her here makes me wonder just why. Luffy gets quiet, starting to contemplate what to do next, and we then go back to the starship, and as they wait bored, Nami would stand, making everyone startled because she had this look on her face. Something wrong, Nami? Chopper would ask, and Nami would then say, it's coming. Is it really time to be acting really vague right now? Usopp would ask, and Nami then says they need to call Luffy back because Lagunica is approaching and she can literally feel it and she's read up about it before they came here, only for Sanji to then tell him to stop. It's Robin. Quickly everyone turns to see her and would quickly ask her to get on, but she stays where she is and says, sorry, but this is where our journey comes to an end. What are you saying? Sanji would say. This isn't funny. It's not a joke, Robin would say. I knew I was never going to stay long. She doesn't seem to be joking, which only makes them wonder even more. Why? Why play along all this time if she was just going to leave? And it just didn't make sense. After saying her goodbye, she then turned, and as if by magic, she disappeared, leaving the Tempest in disarray. Guys, Usopp would say, we can't do this right now. You said Lagunica was coming, right? But we still need Luffy to put up the barrier, Nami would say. Back at Iceberg's home, Luffy, after contemplating everything, would then just show a big smile, causing everyone to become worried. Just get out of here, you're ruining her plans, Lucy thought, as Luffy then raised his gaze, saying, I don't believe you. What do you mean by that? Iceberg would say. Someone's plotting something, Luffy would say. Robin has no reason to shoot you, unless the man who was with her commanded her to do it. And no one gets to tell my crewmates what they can and cannot do, except me. Khalifa, Kaku, and Lucy became very, very nervous, thinking that maybe they were on thin ice and were nearly prepared to get into a fight even, when Luffy then turned the other way and then flew out of the window. I'll figure this out, trust me. Robin isn't the devil you think she is. She's just lost. He then blasts off back to his ship, and the winds get stronger as Lagunica then nears them and prepares to arrive to ravage the city of Water 7. If there's anyone who can make Robin go this far, it had to be them. CP9, Luffy thought. And this brings us to the end of this part. Welcome to the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this part. Try to make it as high stakes as possible. Obviously, Luffy is going to destroy motherfuckers in the end, but I'm trying to actually pay more attention to arcs like this, like I did not do in the last Luffy series, so y'all can actually feel like things actually happen instead of me just skipping over them. So, hope y'all like this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of my videos. And I will see you in the next video. But, of course, tell me down below how you're feeling today. Of course. Tell me how you're doing. And also, I am not sick, guys. Don't worry. I just have, like, a bit of, like, I'm just coughing a bit. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not sick. If I was sick, I would let you know. Trust me. Because you wouldn't get videos for a week, at least. Alright? Alright, I'm gonna leave. And, goodbye. See ya. Peace.